Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Bikini in the Brain. I'm here with Ashley Kaltwasser.
Hi.
How's your week been, Ashley? Let's start off with that since you're getting ready now for the Arnold.
It was very uneventful. I took a week off and I just slept as much as I could. I stayed in my pajamas. I tried not to leave the house. Yeah, it was nice.
Good. Yeah, everyone needs a week like that. See, I like to just mention that too, because so many people think that they take a week off, they're going to lose all their gains and everything's going to fall apart. They're going to lose all their muscle.
I mean, maybe I did.
Oh, maybe you did. Yeah.
Maybe my life just fell apart.
Maybe
you don't know
did.
that.
I haven't seen you yet. You're wearing a big sweater.
Yeah.
Are you just skin and bones under there? Oh no, we got no butt Betty in the studio today. Everything fell apart. Lost it all. Well, there's always next year. So so today, guys, we're gonna do something a little different, and we are going to go into the national winners that won this last national show. We're gonna look primarily at the fit model. I think we look a little bit at the bikini too. Of course, why not? But the national winners, and kind of talk about how fit model is evolving from beginning of the year till now, because there is a pretty significant difference, I would say, from the first competitors to now the evolved competitors, which is something that was inevitable to happen. I was saying at the beginning of the year, I was like, hey, they're gonna get more muscular. They're gonna get, they're gonna find the girls they're looking for. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into that. And I don't know if you've been, well, yes, obviously you've been watching it over the year. What do you think so far?
Yeah, so very cool to see how it started in the beginning with very minimal notice for the competitors, and the turnout at the shows wasn't really significant. But now if you go to any show, it seems to be the most popular division. And that is another thing that you kind of predicted as well.
Yeah.
I think a lot of girls in the beginning had cold feet and they just didn't really know about the division as much. And, to be fair, what I said previously too is they had very minimal time to prep. So I know when they first announced it, we kind of did the math a little bit, and it's almost as if you had to be already prepping for a bikini show and then just kind of decide to switch paths into a fit model, because they gave maybe a month notice, I think, for the first show. So that's why you saw very minimal numbers. And then I think as the girls started to see who was winning these shows, and they thought, okay, maybe I can fit into this mold. And that's why we're seeing more fit model competitors now, I think.
Yeah, for sure. So let's go ahead and just jump into it and look at, we're just going to go down the list. If you guys are listening online or listening on podcast, you could also go to NPC News Online to look these up. Just go to the fit model section of NPC News Online of the last national competition. We're going to start off with Alexia Reyes, who won her pro card. Congratulations, Alexia, on winning your pro card. I think that's half the story here. Good for her.
That was at nationals that just took place in Texas.
It just took place in fit model. I'm not sure what height category she got in, but yeah, she won her pro card in fit model. So sorry, I'm working through some of these, pulling these up live. If you're seeing it, I'm jumping around on the screens here. First off, looking at Alexia, what's the first thing that you're thinking, Ashley?
So if what stands out to me, I guess, in comparison to maybe a bikini competitor, is the upper body, especially. In the fit model pose, it's different from bikini. So sometimes it can be a little difficult to see leg development and glute, because we're not seeing the same angles as we would be with bikini. But I think it's quite obvious that the upper body is definitely not as developed as a bikini competitors would be.
Yeah,
that level.
And I think that one of the things that stands out to me as well is seeing her quad development and leg development. A lot of people think when they're going into fit model, they think, oh, it's a downgrade. I'm going to have a lot less muscle. And now we're seeing these national girls have these legs, they have a lot of muscle on their legs. Conditioning, of course, is a little bit softer. There's a little bit less detail in the core, less capping to the shoulders, of course, not as that, you don't have that hardness to the shoulder. But this is a lot of development. And I think when people start seeing this on a national level, they're going to be like, okay, maybe I am bikini, but great overall physique, great balance to her physique. I do think that the posing can be a little bit better. And I think that arm coming over so hard in her back arm is also making her arm look a little thicker too.
Yeah. So one of the things I see in bikini a lot is that back arm, instead of it being instead of your hand being on your hip or your suit connector, some bikini competitors will try to cheat it a bit and like kind of lift it more towards their rib cage. That's kind of what this girl is doing, and I don't think it's a good move. Maybe a little more relaxed arm would look better, and more holding her hip rather than the rib cage there. So that rule basically applies with both fit model and bikini.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and pull her up here from the pull up the back shot and see, what we think here. Yeah.
Here is where you can really see the difference between bikini and fit model even more significantly, because this is the same pose as bikini pretty much.
Yeah.
Unlike the front pose, which there's two different angles you're seeing. In bikini, you're seeing more of a side angle, and fit model, you're seeing more front on, whereas the back pose is pretty much the same as you would see in bikini. And this is where you can really see the differences. And as they've described many times, they don't want to see full tie-ins with the fit model back pose. Now, there is a lot of confusion there, and I'll let you explain it because you're really good at explaining it.
Yeah.
Anytime you have glutes and anytime you're in shape, you're going to see like a faint like glute line, right? But it's not a full crispy tie-in. And bikini, you can get away with a little more crisp to it, more of that fully developed and defined V. Whereas in fit model, it might be more faint or more blurred, but they certainly do not want to see that same level of tightness in the back.
Yeah. So you basically explained it right there. So the thing is, if you look at the description that they don't want to see the tie-in, they don't want to see like a full tie-in like bikini. So you have a completed tie-in like you're explaining, where you could see the actual bottom of the tie-in kind of connect. So if you look at the tie-in and you think of it as a V, right? So let's look at like the letter V, where it's like a hard V. If in bikini, you can get away with having that V fully visible all the way down to the bottom connecting part of that V on some girls, not on all girls, but on some. You'll see competitors that come in a little harder. They allow them to be a little bit harder. You can think of competitors like Evie and there's quite a few that I'll have, even you get a little bit tighter on that bottom time where they allow it to be, where you're allowed to be a little bit harder. But then you see some competitors in bikini where they won't be that hard. Jennifer Dory would be a good example, where they wouldn't want her all the way to that deep V, right? Where on the very bottom of the tie-in, you can see that hardness to the V. In fit model, you're never going to see that be allowed to have that full connected V at the bottom where it's hard and crispy and it looks like someone took the letter V and they put it on their glute, right? You shouldn't be able to see that on fit model, but you do have to have glute development. And when you're developing the glutes, you're going to develop tie-ins. It is what it is. You can't develop just the meat of the glute up top and not develop the meat of the glute at bottom. It's all one muscle. So there's a thing called the all or none theory of muscle contraction, which is essentially states like either all the muscle fibers contracted or none of it's contracted at all, right? So that's how muscle fiber works. So it's kind of like when you hear guys saying, "Oh, I want to develop my like lower bicep part, like this part of my," you can't, like, it's either the whole bicep contracts or none of it contracts at all. You can't develop the lower part and not the upper part with it. So same thing with the glute. That muscle fiber is all, when it's contracting, it's all contracting. So you're not going to be able to just, yeah, you could change the exercise and put a little bit more emphasis on portions of it, of the glute, but you're talking about distributing percentages of load. You're not talking about 100% just on the upper glute, 0% on the tie-in. It's never going to be that scenario. So when you develop the glute, you're going to develop all of it. And so you're going to have tie-ins. And you have big glutes, you're going to have tie-ins. You see her, Alexia she's probably pushing the limits here on how much of the tie-in can be showing. But again, it's going to be very different per girl, just like in bikini. So in bikini, we just talked about, Ashley, Evie versus a Jennifer, who's going to be a lot softer in the tie-ins. Why is that permitted? Why can one be so much tighter than the other? Well, in this division, just like bikini, there's a range that's acceptable. So it's going to be, here's the limit of the tie-in, and here's the like anywhere in between, whatever looks best on that girl is what they're going to shoot for. And the judges will kind of guide them as they're a pro and say, hey, you could be a little tighter. And it'll be weird getting that feedback, because sometimes you're like, hey, my competitor was way softer than me. They told her to be softer. Like, why does that? Well, on you, it looks a little different. They're trying to shape how your muscle is defined and looks the best. If you're round and bubbly, you could probably be a little softer, It really depends on your shape, your structure, and how you come together. So I would say she's probably pushing the limits on her tie-ins, but great full glutes. And I think that at the pro level, you're going to see a lot more of this once the pro shows, start.
I wanted to pull back up that photo because
Still up.
one thing that I'm noticing too is in the beginning with Fit Model, they were very strict about the suit coverage being 50%. It does not appear that it's that same rule. Now, it is a little more than Bikini, I think a little more coverage still, but definitely not in the 50% range anymore. And who knows, maybe they'll give an update video and be like, hey guys, let's get it back together, get it back to 50%. But from what I'm seeing, it does look like they're getting away with less. So
yeah, that was definitely.
That doesn't mean it's preferred though.
No.
Just to clarify, the judges might be having conversations with the girls backstage, like this worked for this year, but next year let's just get it back. I had
actually, it's funny. I had an athlete ask me about their suit the other day, and she sent me pictures of different suits, and she's like, "Is this 50%?" I was like, "It's definitely not 50% coverage. Like what you're showing right now." And you're probably going to be able to get away with that because it looks like everyone's getting away with that. But just in case, bring another suit to the show because someone's going to be the girl that they say is too much.
Yeah.
Someone's going to be her. And if it's you and you don't have your other suit, sorry, you're not doing the show, and if you're breaking the rules, there's, just because someone else got away with it, they're eventually going to be like, hey, we said specifically, we want this. We'll allow a little bit more, but you guys are getting crazy. At a certain point, that's going to happen. So it's just something to be very aware of. And if you're going to do that, you should have another suit.
Yeah, at least just a suit bottom.
And the good thing is it's cheap for those Fit Model suits.
Especially for Fit Model, it's quite inexpensive in comparison. So all you need is an extra suit bottom, not the whole entire suit. But good tip there because we don't want to go through all of that hard work for prep and travel and spending money on fees and just to be told that the suit coverage isn't adequate. So.
Yeah. And the next one we're going to go into is Jamaiah Wilson. Actually, I had a competitor in her class. So actually, I've already looked at her photos because I was assessing. Actually, what's funny is I used Jamaiah's photos because one of my athletes that I had doing nationals, which they all did really good. They got first call out, so I was happy with it. But one of them was told that she was like a little too lean. And I was like, you're not too lean based on like the standard of leanness. Maybe they want you a little softer, but you're not like overly lean. I think that you look appropriate. We should talk to another couple of judges. And then I pulled up Jamaiah. I was like, look at how lean she is. And you're definitely softer than her, 100% softer than her. But on her line, she can get away with it. And this is one of those things too. You're like, well, do I got to be that lean? And in some scenarios, yes, you got to be that lean. Obviously it works for Jamaiah, but this is going to be way too lean for some other girls. Like for example, I had a girl, they said, you could come in a little bit softer. I think it'd be better for your lines. And she was softer than Jamaiah by probably a couple percentage of body fat. And she's being told that she needs to get lean. So as you see, it's very per person on what they're looking for. And different judges might prefer people a little bit different ways. That's just natural. That's just natural how they have different biases on what they like and what they think Fit Model should look like too. So, one thing, go ahead and go into what you think about Jamaiah.
So very impressive shape. I will say, I'm curious what her feedback was because her glutes look very overpowering in this front pose.
In the front pose. Yeah, not in the back pose though.
Okay.
I will tell you that.
I haven't seen the back pose.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll be
I thought the same thing. Yeah.
I think from the side, her glutes are very, very impressive though.
Yeah.
I mean, so one of those things is like something I would prefer versus I wonder what the judges say,
Yeah. And this is the difference you're going to see in Fit Model posing too. A lot of girls are doing that like front glute squeeze.
Yeah.
And she's doing that front glute squeeze and some aren't. And you can see the differences in the actual posing of the winners. It's really, both poses are getting pro cards. So it's not just, so there's some, I think was Alexia. I don't think she was doing it in that front pose. I don't think she was. I'm going to look real quick to see. I don't think she was doing that like front glute squeeze. We're looking on our end. I don't think you guys will see it on yours. Yeah, she's not doing, or if she is, she's not doing it a lot. And there's different degrees of it too. So you'll see that happening in the poses where they're doing that front glute squeeze to give that like extra glute kind of shelf that really, I think looks super impressive. But some judges, again, might not prefer this. And that's the thing about the new division is we still don't know what they're going to fully prefer until we see the pro level and what everyone's doing on the pro level. And then also, it might be a thing where it's good for some and not for others. You know, I do think this looks super impressive, but it also looks like it's a little bit overpowering to her physique too, because my eye keeps going right to her glute. So maybe for her, a little bit less of that squeeze, I think would be helping with the overall balance. And at the national level, yeah, it's going to be very, it's going to be a lot easier to get away with things because the competition isn't as close as like a pro level. But once you get to the pro level, everything changes. So she might need to work on the balance and not posing that that front glute so hard. So
I also want to say too, I think that's like a habit that both Fit Model and Bikini have, is like wanting to like make our glutes the standout body part in our front pose, because that's why you'll see bikini competitors like really kind of lean forward a bit and kind of push that glute out, almost like a wellness competitor is. But we have to remind ourselves in Bikini and Fit Model, it's about balance. So sometimes it can overpower a bit. And if we're thinking, okay, wellness, that's why you see them pushing harder in their front pose, like pushing their glutes further out, and you see a little bit of a lean sometimes with their upper body. It's because they do want that imbalance of glutes, but it shouldn't translate like that to these two divisions. Although it is like cool to have, really powerful glutes, we have to just remind ourselves it's about balance.
Yeah. And so here she is from the back. So as you could see in the back pose, you can see the differences of the tie-ins from the last competitor to her. Could use a little bit more actually development in the glutes, a little bit more conditioning in the glutes too, which is, and the thing is with someone who's this lean, you probably don't even want to get her any sharper. She probably just needs more development to look sharper, because it's going to be really hard for her to get leaner in the glutes without getting way too lean up top. She obviously leans out a little bit more on the upper body than the lower body. And so if you get her any leaner, she's probably going to lean out just a little bit more on that upper body. And then she's going to be way too lean on the upper body just to match her lower body. So for someone like this, you're probably going to want more development to the glutes so you look leaner, like more development to the glutes and hamstrings to look leaner. And I think she could actually use a little bit more development to the glutes on top of it too, from the back. It's just from the front, she got a great, you can see how it's different, right, from the front to back and how you present it. So that would be my take on this. And I think that her hair is a little bit distracting to her shoulders.
I was going to ask you your opinion on Fit Model girls with a lot of hair, because in Bikini, where we're looking for that rear delt development, I guess you could say in Fit Model, we're just kind of looking for the shape. So we definitely want to see the waistline. But what is your opinion on the hair for Fit Model? Should you only be worried about your waistline being hidden, or do we also need to worry about the rear delts?
I mean, I think the judges still want to see the overall shape of the shoulders from the back. I don't think any judges are going to prefer not seeing it. So, I think this would be one of those strategic things too.
Or if you have overdeveloped shoulders in the back.
If you don't have shoulders, you could hide them. If you have too much shoulders, you can hide them, kind of thing. But for the most part, especially at the pro level, you're going to want to see, top to bottom, A to Z. You're not going to, a lot of times girls will try to like trick the judges with these things. And I'm like, these guys do you think they don't know these tricks? Like they know what you're doing. Like when you're hiding your glute in the front pose with your hand, if you don't have like the like they know what you're doing. So it's just, the judges are usually better posers than the actual posing coaches. They're like, when you get backstage and they start moving you around, they're like, oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I would, she's got great shoulders, but maybe she's a little sharp on those rear delts. Maybe that's the case, the reason why she's hiding them. I don't know. But, or it's just just an accident why she's.
Could be an accident. I accidentally hide my shoulders sometimes too.
Yeah. When you have big hair like that, or you're not doing a lot of national shows and you're going all out for the national shows, you could see a lot of people just their first time having big hair like that. So they just don't even know it's doing that until the end. So I don't think we will have enough time to go over every single girl, but we'll go over a few of them. Let's go over the overall winner.
Yeah,
too.
I was going to say that would make sense.
She looks awesome. Yeah.
I've got a question for you as you're loading that. So would you say, now that we've had a whole year Fit Model, based upon what we're seeing now, and there is no like precise way to answer this, but a lot of girls that are watching this take place and maybe have never stepped on stage and maybe aren't even athletes themselves, how long of a physique does this take for Fit Model, for the average person that maybe just isn't really working out And again, really hard to answer, but we're talking about just generalizing.
Yeah, so I would say at a local level, you should be able to get on stage. Let's say you just entered the gym, you're not transformation, so you don't need to lose 40 pounds. You're just like regular girl who just started joining the gym. I would say you could be on stage at like 18 months with like a local level. And then a national level, you know, and I'm talking 18 months natural girl. And then at a national level, you know, probably there'd be about a two-year physique to start looking at that. It's very genetic dependent, how hard they're working dependent, how good they're following their nutrition. You know, if it's one of these girls who only is 100% 16 weeks a year, then, you know, the same thing applies. But the one thing I would say is this is going to be a lot more of a reachable physique than a bikini physique these days. I don't think, honestly, even enhanced, I don't think most girls are going to walk into the gym and be competitive on a national stage in bikini until 4 years. The physique is just,
I was thinking 5.
I was going to say, yeah, honestly, 4 or 5. It's like, and they're not even peaking till 7, you know. It's an extremely different physique. We got to call, you know, bikini these days really is figure with glutes and less quads and less like overall, a little bit less lats. And it's like a little bit less, right? It's like these girls are jacked. Like if you look at figure of 20, like 10, it's the same physique, maybe leaner, and just have bigger glutes and less lats and quads. Like it's crazy how developed they are.
Traded glutes for quads.
Yeah, basically you traded glutes for quads and a little bit less. And honestly, some of these bikini girls can do the lat spread and be
You
like,
just don't see them.
Yeah.
No one's doing the little figure pose online.
I would say the biggest thing I hear from pro bikini competitors is they say, I'm tied up in this thing. So I was tied up in my wires. The biggest thing I hear from bikini pros that I know, like on a personal level, is they say, as soon as I'm done competing in bikini, I'm not going to be working my lats anymore. Like, I have no reason for these things. I don't know. Do you hear that too? Or do you feel that way too?
I mean, I feel that way about everything pretty much. Yeah. So I guess I'm in that boat.
Yeah, I hear it all from the bikini. They're like, I just did it for the sport, but I never wanted lats. Like,
that's
I never,
like my whole body, basically.
Yeah. And so I hear from the bikini girls a lot of times too, like, I just want to be able to wear a dress like where my shoulders aren't crazy capped and I'm like walking around town and everyone's like, whoa, you know. I just want to be able to like be less like impressive in public where people don't have to talk about it when they see my shoulders, you know. So that's, you know, you didn't hear that before in Fit Model, like when how Fit Model was created, you know. And that's, I think that's where a lot of the girls, where they created the vision, is they don't want to get that big. A lot of people don't want to get that big. So that's why I really like Fit Model, because it's still very and it's reachable, you know.
Yeah. And I think, you know, us being in the bodybuilding worlds, sometimes we don't see how impressive even the Fit Model is in comparison to the average population. It's quite impressive to the average, you know, person on Facebook or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
that could never even dream of getting to this point.
I think now that we're seeing a higher level fit model competitors, I think a lot of bikini competitors who were resistant to this, were thinking that it was a downgrade, are seeing that, oh, I would actually like to look like this, you know. And this is cool. This is, and I think that that's where people are starting to finally make that transition to bikini, or from bikini to Fit Model, who didn't ever truly fit bikini. Because that's the problem, is most people who are doing bikini right now at the NPC level really aren't bikini. Like it's a very high percentage of them, probably in the 80% range, are Fit Model competing in bikini at the NPC level, but they just don't accept it. And they're like, oh, because I get it a lot. Oh, I just don't like the posing and I like the suits. And I'm like, bro, you're going to change your whole body. So you're for 30 seconds on stage of posing and a connector. Like, come on, bro. What are you doing here? What are we doing here? You're going to change. You're going to add 5 years of work and your body being totally different than where you're at right now, just to pose different for 1 minute a year. Like, it's so crazy, you know. It's so crazy to me. But you know, I think after the pro leagues start, they will see it and be like, okay, I need a lot of muscle to even be competitive at the pro level of Fit Model. Let's start shooting for that. So those are the conversations that, you know, honestly, the athletes I work with have been they've been resistant a little bit, some of it at first, but never like mad where they thought it was like an insult. My clients, I've had consultations where they're like, they think it's insulting. Where I'm like, sorry, I'm not here to just take your money and lie to you and say we're going to do good in bikini, because we're not. Like, I care less if that's what you want to hear from me. I'm going to tell you the truth. I have had quite a few of those where they like leave mad. I'm like, I'm not being mean. I'm just telling them, hey, you need muscle right now for fit model. They'll be like, well, I disagree. I'm like, well, what do I know? I've been doing this since I was 16 years old. So like, but I think when the pro league starts, they're going to start seeing, oh, okay, I need more muscle. So let's go ahead and go into the overall winner, Faithlyn Derla. Congratulations, Faithlyn, by the way. Dude, Faithlyn looks awesome. Crazy good. Go ahead. What your first thoughts on Faithlyn?
She has a really good waist to hip ratio, very curvy, very tight little waistline. And I think that is something that's hard to achieve if you're not having the correct genetics for it, right? It's really hard to offset a small waistline, especially in fit model, because again, we have to be careful with the amount of muscle we're putting on. You can say, oh yeah, build around a waistline, right? But at the same time, there is a big limit for fit model to do that. So very, very good taper.
Yeah, I will say, honestly, I think she's like at the limit of everything too.
I think this
is the max.
Because if we go anymore, it's going to be very confusing between bikini.
Honestly, it already is confusing with Maureen being the champ. Like that's just the reality of things, because this girl would be comparable to muscle wise, right? In terms of muscle development, because Maureen's on the smaller side and on the softer side. So this is like it kind of blurs a bit of that. So her like, she's got a lot of muscle. And if you girls are thinking that, and you got to remember, it's a lot of muscle for her on her frame. It's not a lot of muscle in general. Like, she's not figure competitor muscular. It's just, she's got a smaller frame. She's got a lot of muscle for her frame, but it's still in the acceptable range, but it's like at the cap. And this is what you're going to be seeing, I think, on the pro level, but just her overall look, her flow, her hair, her beauty, her complexion, her lines, like she's got it all going on,
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the arm being forward like that, and that back arm does make her arm look a little heavy. I think that that's one thing, but she does have big quads. So I guess it could balance her out a little bit more too. There's the argument for that. So, but yeah,
her quads are juicier than mine for sure.
Her quads are, they're juicy. That's what I'm saying.
Juicy
like
quads.
I think she's got more quads than the current Olympia champ. It's close. So like, that's where there's going to be some confusion on these things, because those are she even has like some separation lines like in her quad, but it's softer still. So that's the thing. I think people think it's such a big difference. I think Steve DeVore said this best when we did that seminar, and he said, you guys, fit model is not a no muscle division. It's just bikini downsized by a little bit. He's like, it's a little bit softer than bikini. It's a little bit less muscle than bikini. It is not like this entirely different thing. It's just a little bit less than bikini. And this girl, I think, fits that very well. A little bit softer. And then muscle wise, it's a little bit less. It's pretty much what he's saying,
Yeah. And who knows, maybe that's what her feedback was. We don't know, but
Yeah. She was the best in the show that day, but it doesn't mean that she's perfect. It doesn't mean that there's nothing to change on her
no
physique
one is
whatsoever.
Perfect. And even when you win, you should always get feedback. Get feedback.
So, but yeah, congratulations to her, because honestly, great physique. I saw her and I was like, okay, that makes sense. I saw her. And this is one of the things too you can look at, is just like her beauty flow, is very strong. Mm-hmm. So let me go ahead and
that one's hard to explain to people. And the pretty muscle thing is hard to explain to people. Just having the muscle development without getting grainy or too tight in certain areas. So one thing I can say about her is she's not really showing any striations at all, although she does have a bit of muscle. No striations, nothing. So
yeah. And when you look at her from the back, great fullness to her glutes, but look at the tie-ins. They're there, but they're not crispy, right? The glutes are full, but it's not overpowering to any part of her physique. The hamstrings are there, but it's not separated. You could see the lines on the sides of the hamstrings. I will say from the back, I think her taper could be a little bit better from her waistline from the back. It's a little bit more straight up and down from the backside. I could see being a little bit more of an argument for an hourglass shape. I'm not sure how they'll what they'll say there, if she needs more like upper glutes to offset her waistline from the back, if her hair needs to be a little bit lower, or she needs a little bit more. I mean, I don't think they're going to say a little bit more lat to help with the hourglass shape, but I think it could be a little bit better for like going and winning a pro show now, because the lines from the back matter just as much as the lines from the front.
I wonder if putting her toes forward instead of to the side would help the quads a bit in the back. Just because you never want the quad line to exceed the line of your glutes, and it kind of looks like it does.
Yeah, and if you put your foot in just a little bit closer together, that could help with the
but
the
who
upper
knows?
glute
Maybe
shape. I'm sure she's played with
she
it.
already because it's like we're sitting here, but I know how it works. Like how you say it doesn't always make sense to translate it that way. Immediately, like you say it and it doesn't on the physique doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
because then something else overpowers. So then they're done.
Yeah, it's always it's another problem creates another problem creates. So but great overall physique. I think from the front she's going to be pretty untouchable, and then from the back could use a little bit of development. So or a little bit, posing development. I guess a little bit, I would say hourglass shape more than anything, so let's go ahead and finish with that on fit model. Look at some of the bikini though. Let's go into bikini. This is bikini in the brain. Not fit model in the brain. we kind of transition between the both, right? I'm really happy we have another division to kind of look at too now. It's definitely fun. So let's go ahead and look at. Sorry guys, we're pulling this up live as we're doing it.
So if you're listening, you might want to watch the YouTube this time.
Yeah, it just is youtube.com/Team Elite Physique under the lives. All of our stuff is under the lives. And you could see it there, but I think you can hear this and you'll understand it pretty well too. So let's go ahead and let's start off with the overall winner, Roxana.
I like how that's spelt.
Her name, Roxana. Oh yeah, because there's like an S in it as well. Yeah, she looks awesome.
Very unique, unlike freaking Ashley,
dude.
So basic.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, she looks great.
I hate. We have generic names. At least my last name's like different. Your last name's different too.
Oh gosh, mine's very different.
You're the only one I ever met.
No way, Adam. That's crazy. I'm the only cult wasser that you've met.
I've never met.
Because I've never met anyone outside my family.
Really?
Either that was a cult wasser.
Really?
There's a few of us, but I don't think I'm related.
Mine
to
is
them.
the 693rd most popular Hispanic last name. Yeah, I know. I don't know why I know that, but I do. Yeah, which is because it seemed more rare, and I was like, and then I looked at it. How rare is it? It was like either 663 or 693. I was like, oh, that's not that rare considering how many.
It's not in the States, though. You said Hispanic name, so if you say in the United States, I bet it's less.
Yeah, common. Probably less. Yeah, you're probably right. You don't run into too many of them.
Like I'm sure there's multiple cult waltzers in Germany, so that doesn't count.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. Okay. All right. So, Roxana, congratulations on winning the overall in bikini. Holy Toledo. She looks good, right? Mm-hmm. So, holy guacamole is what I was looking for. So, looking at now that we have her pulled up, look at the difference between bikini and fit model, right? Mm-hmm. Huge difference. So, and that's what I'm saying is, and you got to ask yourself, are you closer to Roxana? Are you closer to Faithlin, right? In terms of like how you're showing up. Look at the shoulder caps. Like look at how hard the shoulder caps are. Look at the detail and the hardness to the muscle. Look at that conditioning on her core and the overall development. And this, you remember, this is a girl who just went pro. So she's not peaked out as a pro yet. She's peaked out or she's winning the national overall because her lines. And this is the thing with variance in bikini girls. Some will be more muscular than others. I'll say she's a little bit on the petite side, but that's I think her structure in general.
Yeah, I think she looks, I bet you she's an A-class girl. Is she?
I don't know.
She looks shorter, but yeah, very compact.
Yeah. She's.
I like it though. I like to see when girls aren't too big winning bikini because we don't want bikini any bigger. Okay, I said it. No, please, no more. No more.
It's getting
no more.
Crazy.
I can't keep up. I didn't sign up for this.
Let's see. She wasn't. Yeah. You signed up for a fit model.
I signed up for fit model 10 years ago.
She's a D class. She's a D class girl.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So
I was a D class girl, but then it's back in the day. There was like A, B, C, D, E or something. No, I was C class, and yeah, but now it's like to H or J or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, so she's about average height. Okay.
H. Yeah, H, 8 classes. So yeah, it's crazy, huh? I remember it
Mhm.
used to be, just 2 and 3 in some shows. Like the NPC shows would be like ABC,
Mhm.
and then the national shows. Actually, the start of the national, I don't remember. Was it just ABC? Maybe it was ABCD. I don't remember. But then you had to win the overall of the whole show to get a pro card. It was like impossible to get a pro card. It was so crazy. Back then, you'd meet a pro and you'd be like, "What? You're a pro? Like, how'd you do that?" Like, you're who? It was like seeing a unicorn. You're like, "Dude, you see that? It was a unicorn." Now it's like, there's what 16 bikini pros per show. It's like 100 and like 60 something a year, I think, in the United States. Still harder in the overseas though, and overseas is freaking tough. And I would say the what you need to do to be pro overseas versus what you need to be pro in the United States is different in terms of like that's why you looked at like Canada for a while. All they did was produce uh, they'd produce a bikini competitor and that girl would go and win a show. And they'd produce a bikini competitor, that girl, and every one of them was a star. I was like, dude, Canada's big and it has a lot of people. Like it has a good amount of people in it. And to get a pro card there was like impossible before. It's a little bit easier now, but still just a little bit easier. But it was like no one would get a pro card ever. And then you'd produce like, oh, Jennifer Dory. And the next year I was like, oh, Laura Lee. It was like just like crazy good competitors would come out of there because it was like it was so hard to get a pro card there. In the US, 16 girls of the USA's, they're done. Now those slots are open for the next best 16 girls to go into nationals, and they're done. And then now it's universe and 16 girls will get it. And now it's North Americans and 16 girls will get. So it's like that's the thing I say about getting pro card is like you when you compete again, like if you got 5th place at a national show, well, now if you did that same national show and the next day, now you'd be 3rd place because 2 of those girls are gone now, right? And so you kind of like process of elimination almost, where you just move up higher and higher. So that's why I say you might be good enough to go pro, doesn't mean you're good enough to win a pro show. It's a lot different in like Canada and overseas, or where it's like, oh, you won a pro show there, you won a national show there, yeah, you're probably good enough to win a pro show at somewhere in the world. So anyway, yeah, that's my tangent on that, right? So we didn't even go into her structure so much too. Anything else we need to talk about?
Maybe
her front?
the back pose would be good, but I think her front pose looks really good. Really good.
Yeah.
I don't think it changed anything on that. She looks really complete.
Yeah, really complete. And honestly, she's one of the girls where sometimes I'll like I just said, a lot of girls will say, "Hey, you're good enough to win a pro show, but not, or win a pro card, but not good enough to win a pro show." I think that she's good enough to go and compete as a pro already. I think that the little bit. We'll pull her up from the back so we can talk about it.
It's always interesting though, because sometimes you'll see photos and you don't know how big they actually are until you're standing next to them. So I'm curious how big she actually is. But yeah, that front pose is dynamite. I think the back pose needs just a little more roundness in the upper glute area to kind of fill out the width of her quads there, or thighs.
Yeah, so that's what I'm seeing here too. So really sharp tie-ins. And that's the V we're talking about, right? That deep V at the very bottom. That V connects, right? And it's a strong, really strong. But you could also see the hamstrings are a little thin, right? You're seeing the separation lines in between the hamstrings, and you're seeing that like kind of thinness to the hamstrings. Versus at the pro level, you want to see that round fullness of that hamstring all the way down without that middle separation line going down. And you can see that on her. So yeah, you got it spot on. The backside needs a little bit more fullness, a little bit more upper glute, which will make her waistline look smaller too and help with the hourglass shape. And honestly, from the back, I do think a little bit more in the rear delt would be helpful. Maybe width would be. And it looks like maybe it's a camera angle, but it does look like she's opening her tricep a little bit on the right side. I'm seeing the inside of her arms, and that, shows that deep detail of the arms, which you don't typically want to see in bikini, that deep separation detail of bicep and tricep too, which it draws my eye. Could be because her hair is a little shorter too. But I think she's opening a little bit on her, rotating her arms a little bit too far forward for that to show that. So from the front, I mean, not much to do at all. From the back, probably does need a little bit more glutes and hamstrings to be competitive at the pro level, and a little more shoulder too. But really impressive physique. Add 3 pounds of muscle to the backside, 2 pounds of muscle to the backside, and that's like genetics and structure to be doing really well on the pro level, because the structure is so much about at the pro level. Structure is so much. I've seen so many girls who look great, but they have a narrow clavicle base and they're like perfect everywhere. But then they have a narrow clavicle base, and like the only way to get them to be competitive is get those shoulders to be bigger. But then their shoulders look too developed if they do that. It doesn't have, and they're just never going to have that width and structure. So, or their waistline's just a little bit too thick to be competitive against an Ashley Cotwalls or an Issa or something like that. So it's just one of those things where you kind of at that level, you're really getting to the genetic structure and how competitive they're going to be. And then it's, complete it with the muscle and whatnot. So that's what I would say for her, but really good physique. So putting out some strong physiques these years. We didn't see this level of physique coming out before, just at national shows. Still, imagine that, like 10 years ago. That's crazy. So,
impressive.
Yeah. So my thoughts are, from the beginning of the year till now, I think we're getting very close to what the end result of what we're supposed to be finding. And that's what I was telling everyone in the beginning. Everyone's like, they're not muscular enough. I'm like, it was like 12 girls. There wasn't anyone competing in Fit Model in the first few shows. It was like 12 girls in the first 3 shows, I think. And a lot of them was the same. Like this, I think it was 12 in the first 3 shows. Out of all of the shows, like they were doing multiple shows, and yeah, you're not going to find your best Fit Model girls. I mean, I wouldn't say you're not going to, it's unlikely you're going to find the best girl out of 12 girls. Like, you get 1200, you're a lot more likely to find the level of physique you're looking for. And so, I think Steve had it right. It's just, it's going to get to that level. And here's the thing that we have to say about Fit Model. We can say about Bikini that it's gotten bigger, and it's gotten, you could say it's gotten past the criteria, because they obviously created a new division that is the old criteria of Bikini. So it's obviously gotten past the criteria of what it was listed as. Bikini has. And now it's a very muscular division. It's a totally different thing than what it was originally designed to be. But Fit Model has not done that. Fit Model has just reached the criteria as of what it was intended to do. And they found the girls now where it's exactly at the criteria. Hopefully it stays there. Hopefully the judges don't turn this into Bikini 2.0 in 10 years. And now we have Fit Model 3.
You know what gives me hope, though? That didn't happen with wellness. I feel like wellness out the gate was big, but it never got bigger. Yeah. So there's hope.
Yeah. I would say it got leaner. Those girls are jacked. They look pretty lean. They're pretty lean.
Did it always look pretty lean, though?
Well, I would say that there was a lot more talk about it when they first came out, that like if someone was showing too much quad detail or too much, I would say it's gotten a little bit more acceptable for them to be a little leaner. But yeah, they're jacked, man. How could they even get bigger? Right? It's like their quads are like some of them are like women's bodybuilding quads, and it's like how do they even get bigger is the thing, so yeah, that's a different world than the world we live in, That's why everyone has like their expertise in different divisions, right? That's a totally different world that I'm not traveling in, And so with Fit Model, I think that now that we're seeing this, I would say for yourself, if you're a NPC bikini competitor, do a self-assessment. Say, hey, talk to your coach. Am I really bikini? Am I like just, and if you're not, am I wanting to look like what bikini would look like? And am I willing to do what it's going to take for me to be bikini? Am I willing to wait 5 years to be competitive? Whatever, but that scenario. So I really like how these national shows, we're seeing them now, and a lot less people are saying I was wrong. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm really excited to see who takes home the first pro win in Japan in
that's gonna be
February. Fun. That is going to really, I think, set the tone for the whole year, and then girls can kind of see what the limit is on that, because as we've discussed, obviously the pro winner has to be more impressive than the amateur winner, but how much more impressive, how much more muscle, how much more conditioned will this competitor be? And will the winner of the first Fit Model Pro be the same body fat percentage as bikini? Is it going to be leaner in comparison to our winner? So that is also going to be very, very interesting to see the comparison of pro bikini winner versus Fit Model Pro winner.
We're going to have to assess that one together. And you guys like this. This is fun. Actually, I like doing this with you. I think it's well, it gives us some more stuff to do too. And, we've done like 300 episodes.
Yeah. The only thing I'm a little concerned about is it's a mostly podcast. audio
Yeah,
podcast.
that's
And
true.
I don't know if it annoys you guys that we're referring to photos that you cannot see. So if it bothers you, just let us know.
Yeah,
We're
please.
trying to get a feel out if this is a good route to go, because I'm assuming that everyone on the YouTube section is going to be like, yeah, it's great because they can see it. But I don't know about the other platforms, because we're on like the other audio platforms.
We're on the other audio platform, but it's a pretty easy to like just to tune, like, because it's if you just switch to YouTube, if you're listening, because you're listening on your phone like 90% of the time, like who's like putting it on their car radio, right? Like, or if they are, it's from their phone, but it's from their phone,
Yeah.
right? So they could just like, don't look down, I guess, but like during the picture time, you can be like, okay, who's this girl? I think it's a pretty easy transition over. So yeah, so if you are youtube.com/Team Elite Physique, under the live section is where all of our podcasts are, under live. It won't be under the regular videos, so you have to go under live. So, but yeah, let us know though. If you hate it, then we won't do it, and it's fine. I'll just, try to come up with another idea. I'm out of ideas. Oh, no. But yeah, it makes it fun, and it keeps it. And it's a lot of times I want to do these too, and I don't get to them because there's a lot of work to do them my way, where it's like you set them all up, you do like you have to redo it with arrows and look at the scenarios and all that. And I'll do that stuff for like the shows, so like the Arnolds and whatnot, and some of the bikini shows, because you can't review those bikini shows yet. It's not going to be something you're going to be.
Oh yeah, I don't want to review my competitors.
Yeah, I get that.
It's so weird to be like, yeah, I was talking about you on a podcast the other day. Yeah. It's so strange, and sometimes it's beyond my control because I'll get asked directly in an interview about someone, and I'm just like, I tried to avoid it. I'm not like into the drama like that. I just like to stay in my own lane and just, yeah. So sometimes I can't avoid it, but if I can avoid it, I would rather not talk about my competitors I step on stage with.
Yeah, that'd be really funny. Yeah, can you imagine that if you're like backstage and you were like about to compete against some girl, and you were like, and she was like, 6 months ago, you said I needed more glutes.
Look at me now.
What do you think now? Like, what she's like asking,
look at me.
Yeah. Or if like one day one of these girls beat you, right? And she's like, you said I had no butt. Like, you said it, they take it so personal. It's so funny. Yeah, let's stay away from that. We'll stay away from that fire.
You can have the fire because you're not backstage with them.
Hey, I'm gonna say it how it is. The thing is, I'm never not truthful, and sometimes girls don't like it, and they don't like it. They think I'm picking on them or something. And then what'll happen is they start making those improvements 3, 4 years, 2 years down the road. And then I start saying all positive things about them. And then they're like, oh, he was just saying how it was. But as soon as it's good, they can dismiss all the bad, right? And it was never bad. It's like, you need more of this, you need more of that. And then they'll tell me, oh, I really like that you're honest. But they would never talk to me even before. But now they're like, oh yeah, what's nice that you always give like a true opinion. And I'm like, dude, I don't care if I'm liked. That's one thing, which is important, because if you care too much about what people, if they like you, then you just mold yourself to be liked by everyone, and then you're not your true self. So I've found that you can't give into those like social pressures of being liked by everyone, because you're never going to be liked by everyone anyway. So, and that I've also realized there's not real people. Like they're online people, and I don't have like real relationships with them. So I really don't care, like I'm not hanging out with you, bro. Like if I see you 1 hour at a show twice a year, like I really could give a shit if you like me or not, right? So it's like one of those things where I'm kind of like, whatever, I'm old now, I just don't care. Like, I think it just comes with age, right? You just stop caring. Another tangent. So I guess with that, anything else, Ashley?
No, I think that's it. I'm so excited to start prep now. So woo.
Yes, let's lift a weight. It's probably a good idea that you lift a weight. Maybe considered like exercise.
I got a nice little home gym now. I showed Adam it. So there's no excuses for me, especially on the days that I want to be lazy and not leave my house. I can still work out.
I think would be a good idea for your bodybuilding career, Ashley.
What?
Like exercising.
I haven't tried that. I've heard good things though. So.
Like lifting weights, and that, probably going to be helpful.
This whole time I've just been dieting. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the only thing
Yeah.
I've done.
Eating,
So
like lifting some up, putting them back down, lifting them up again, and maybe eating some proteins, I think would be good. Let's start there.
the good news is I have a lot of potential
Yeah.
because I've never done that.
Yeah. You know, the sky's the limit. Actually, you could be the best there ever was.
Dude, I'm about to. I might try women's physique now.
let's slow it down. Let's start with once a week, see what happens here, because I have a feeling something's gonna pop off. All right. We'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks so much for tuning in.